Russell Payne, and this is The Vindicator, and it's another candidate spotlight. Today we're going to talk to Robert Adams, a candidate for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. But before we do that, I want to run through a few election items just to give that information to you. And if you're watching all these spotlights, we're hammering it into your head. So, voters registration deadline is February the 2nd. If you plan to vote and are not registered, you need to get an application in by that date. Early voting starts February the 17th. Primary election day is on March the 3rd. That's, of course, a Tuesday. We will have candidate forums for Congressional District 9 and Senate District 3 on February the 11th at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center. The following night, February 12th, also at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center, we'll have Liberty County Precinct 2 and 4 commissioners candidates, as well as 75th and 253rd District Judge candidates. Our election guide comes out February 12th, both online and in print, and it'll be free to the public, so you can help make an informed decision before you vote. With that said, Mr. Adams.
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours to introduce yourself to the voters.
My name's Robert Adams. I live in Raywood, 49 years old. I'm running to be Justice of the Peace for Precinct 2. That covers Raywood, Dayzetta, Devers, and Hull. Everybody says they're ready for a change, and I believe I'm the change that needs to be made.
All right. Well, let's get to that real quick here. We've got, just in case folks don't know, the Justice of the Peace Office, of course, deals with small claims court, civil cases under $20,000, Class C misdemeanors.
Yeah, only Class C's.
That's right. They are a magistrate. They can sign warrants. They do arrest warrants. They do inquests in the case of deaths. They do marriages.
That's right.
That's the.
I do marriages myself anyway. I'm an ordained minister.
Well, there you go. All right. And they can give oaths and affidavits and whatnot. And as you already said, this particular precinct covers Dayzetta, Raywood, and Devers areas. What's going to set you apart from your opponents? You have two opponents. And by the way, what is your place on the ballot, real quick?
I am number 2.
Number 2 on the ballot for the Precinct 2 Justice of the Peace.
Remember that, number 2.
That's right. So what's going to set you apart from your opponents?
I think because I'm kind of the best of both worlds. You know, I started out as a rig welder, pipelining. I welded pipelines for 25 years. Mm-hmm. So I've been on the side that's not law enforcement, you know, and I've had to deal with law enforcement and JPs and you know, going to court over tickets and things like that. You know, as a quote unquote regular person, mm-hmm. and you know, then with my daughter, trying to be a full-time dad. You know, she was about 2 or 3, I believe, when I decided to make the change and decided to go into law enforcement. You know, discuss with my wife what to do. You know, mm-hmm. When you're traveling all the time and you're looking for something to stop doing that, it's kind of hard to just up and change something that you don't, you know, you never done because what you've done all your life. And I decided law enforcement because it's what I wanted to do my whole life. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I got into that, and that put me on this side of, you know, the deal. So I was able to see things from a regular citizen's side and also from the law enforcement government side. Yeah. And so that's, you know, answer your question, that's what I believe would stand me apart from anybody else, because I'm not a career law enforcement officer. You know, mm-hmm. It's not what I've been doing since I was 18 years old. You know, and I'm not just a podunk guy that, you know, has no experience at all in this. So mm-hmm. I've got life experience, plus I've got law enforcement experience behind me as well. So I believe that I can not only implement the law and utilize the law, but also do it with compassion as a regular person. And I think that's what the people need, and I think that's what the people want.
What compelled you? What made you decide to run for this position?
Honestly, like I said, I became a police officer, law enforcement, about 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. No, it was about 6 years ago, 2020 is mm-hmm. when I made the change. I've been with Robbie now almost 6 years. But I did that, and, you know, you ever wake up in the morning and, I mean, you know, rhetorical question, and just like, you know, man, I'm in the same thing day in and day out. I do that. Wake up, I go to work, I come home, and, you know, what is the point of life? What, you know, God, what do you have for me? You know, what am I supposed to do here? Because we all want to have a purpose.
Right.
And when I became a police officer, that it seemed like it fulfilled my purpose, because I was able to make a difference in the community, make a difference on the streets. And now, you get to a point to where, and I don't have 100 years of law enforcement experience. Like I said, 6 years, and I'm 49 years old. So, it seems like the older you get, the shorter the days become. So, 6 years is almost like 12 years. But I've been exposed to a whole bunch of things out there. Deaths, drugs, you name it. I've been exposed to it, and also being the court bailiff for Larry Williams Court, he's the Justice of the Peace for Precinct 4. I've been able to watch him, and I'm in there during court, and I watch how he rules, and I watch how he talks to people. People may come in and they don't have a driver's license, and like they say, how am I supposed to get from A to B if I don't have a driver's license? And I can't walk 40 miles to work, and hear him tell about an occupational driver's license, and you get to that point to where, okay, I'm able to help people. I'm able to make a difference in my community. But moving to the next level of law enforcement, which would be the judicial branch of it, and small town justice of the peace type is a justice for the people, and you're able to make more of a difference as a judge than you are as a police officer, and that's why I decided to make that run.
What is going to be your biggest attribute? What is your biggest strength that you'll bring to this job?
My biggest strength, I want to say, would be my integrity. I had a guy tell me the other day, for an example, I towed his vehicle, didn't have insurance, didn't have a driver's license. And he said, man, isn't there anything you can do, to be able to not tow my vehicle? And unfortunately, there's not, because if I catch you driving and I let you go, oh, Russell, I know you, and you don't have insurance, or go ahead, man, we won't say nothing. Mm-hmm. If I do that for you, but I don't do it for this guy, that's not maintaining consistency. Mm-hmm. You have to be consistent and fair completely across the board, and that's the way I am, man. If you were to run my statistics right now on how many people I've pulled over for no insurance and how many people I've towed, you would see it's basically 100 for 100. The only exceptions I make is if I may pull over a vehicle that's got, a lady with 4 or 5 kids in it, or even 1 or 2 kids, and it's, maybe raining, and I'll call Robbie. Hey, I'd like to make an exception on towing their vehicle because it's an extenuating circumstance. And,
right.
But other than that, it's fair completely across the board. It's consistency, and I believe that's what my integrity of that is what's going to hold me apart from everyone else.
What community outreach do you do or participate in? Tell us some.
As of right now, every day, I serve my community, putting my life on the line, being on the streets as a patrol deputy. I have a life as well, so I don't have time to just, work 10 or 12 hours a day and then come home and, run out to try to do other, community events. If somebody invites me to something, I'll be happy to go. But as far as what else I do that's what I do. I donate basically I work for the community every day. Mm-hmm. And if I'm elected as a JP, I'll continue working for the community every day.
Okay. There is an incumbent in your race.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Belt. One term. And in fact, he actually was the last, or the first Republican to be elected to that position, right? That was the last Democrat stronghold.
Can I?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want it to be known, this is the first time that Jimmy Belt has ran as a Republican. Every other office he's run for has been for a Democrat. My wife worked on his campaign, and he was having trouble trying to decide if he should run Republican or Democrat for this one. And the only reason he ran as a Republican was because Judge Davis was already running as a Democrat, and he figured that nobody else was running as a Republican, so he did. Myself, I am a conservative, always been a Republican, good or bad. That's who I am. So,
what does that mean as a conservative Republican? What does that mean on the bench for you?
It means to hold strong values. I believe as a conservative, take the political affiliation out of it, but Republicans are known for being conservative. And as a conservative, that's the type of people that we need to instill the values not only in ourselves and in our families, but also in the folks that we deal with every day. You know, I was raised to try to treat everybody like they're, you know, equal and fair, and that's where my conservative values come in, is the way that I treat folks.
What are you looking most forward to if you are elected? What are you looking most forward to with this opportunity?
More interaction with people, you know. I already interact with them now on the law enforcement side, and I'm looking forward to be able to, you know, going back to the tickets and stuff. People with no driver's license, for example. As a police officer, all I can do is, whenever I encounter someone, is explain to them, okay, you don't have a license. Why don't you have a license? You know, and when they give me that reasoning, I can direct them. Well, you know, you need to check into an occupational license so you can get yourself legal and, you know, at least be able to drive and take care of your business. Moving over in this, I'll be able to help people, you know, not just give them advice on, you know, what they should do. And, you know, as a JP, you can't give legal advice, but if someone comes to you with troubles of the law and that is in your office, like issuing occupational licenses, you can absolutely do that. And I'm looking forward to helping people. I'm looking forward to trying to make a difference in the court on the integrity side, on the law side, just being able to show people who I am and show them that, you know, I'm ready to make a difference. I'm ready to be a judge that they can trust.
What's the biggest issue you think you'll be dealing with in Precinct 2 of this county if you're elected?
Well, I don't believe that they get a whole lot of papers. Like I said, I don't serve a lot of papers in Precinct 2. All the papers we serve is Precinct 4, and I know we get a lot of them. I don't believe that Precinct 2 gets a whole lot of papers. I think the most things they do is, just off the top of my knowledge, off the top of my head, is probably tickets and you know, citations, tickets, maybe some small claims cases, things like that.
Are there any kind of programs you might want to look into if you become a JP?
That I don't know. We'll have to look at down the road. You know, I don't want to put the cart before the horse and make all these plans and then get in there and nothing can be implemented. You know?
Right, absolutely. What do you think the greatest weakness you might have coming into this thing? That's a different kind of question. Right?
Like my greatest weakness?
Yeah, that you might have into this job.
Compassion. Compassion is a hard thing to do. You know, it's you experience that on law enforcement side. You know, you get that. I can't tell you the times that you make stops with people. I made an arrest one time. A lady, she had several grams of meth on her person, and on the way to jail, she just cried the whole time. You know, and talking about wanting to make a difference and wanting to, you know, in her life and trying to change her life. But it seems like every time she gets a step forward, takes, and you know, there's so much you want to do for this person and you can't because your hands are tied, you know, but, you know, I believe that's my greatest weakness is, it's a gift and a curse, you know, compassion, wanting to help people.
Absolutely. So we talked about, Judge Roy Bean. You're going to be a lot like Judge Roy Bean.
Oh, man.
He's one of your opponents.
Maybe with his integrity.
Integrity, right? I don't figure any of y'all are going to quite come off with Judge Roy Bean. But anyway, it's this is a.
I actually have a picture hanging in my office of Judge Roy Bean's court, and I changed it, you know, because his court he used to share with a saloon,
right.
And I changed the sign where it says Judge Roy Bean and it says Judge Larry Wilburn.
I saw it.
And instead of Law West of the Pecos, it says Law West of the Trinity.
I saw it. Well, I saw that today on the Dayton, Texas Memories on Facebook page, and it said the Law West of the Trinity. It was the Dayton.
Yeah, and Judge Wilburn has a sign like that.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I saw that today.
Yes.
Well, let's go back over the election day information. Election day is March the 3rd. That's a Tuesday, of course. Early voting is going to begin on February the 17th, running up to that election registration deadline. If you are not registered to vote, is February the 2nd. We'll have candidate forums on February the 11th at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center for Congressional District 9 and Senate District 4. The next night, February the 12th, at 6 p.m. at the Dayton Community Center for Precinct 2 and 4 and the 75th and 253rd District Judges. And, of course, our candidate information, election guide will be coming out February the 12th. You'll have that ahead of the election, early voting to make some choices. How do people find out more about you, get a hold of you? What do they
So
do?
they can go on. I have a Facebook page. It's Robert Adams for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. Excuse me. I also have an email address. If you'd like to email me, it's Robert Adams, the number 4, JP2 at gmail.com. If you have questions right now, I'm hosting on my Facebook page series of questions and answers. I get bombarded with questions from people, which is great because they're wanting to know things, you know. And so every day now I am hosting these Q&As, and I'm not putting anybody's face or their names on it. I am simply stating what the question is that came in and what my response is to that. And I'm posting it on all the groups. We all know in Raywood, 411 Dayton, Liberty County 411, all the 411 information groups. That's all posted. And if you have any questions, anything that comes to mind, any gripes, compliments, any concerns, any questions, I urge you to reach out to my Facebook page, reach out to my personal page, it's Robert Adams, or shoot me an email to my campaign email, and I'll be glad to get back with you.
You want to make any final pitch?
I don't. I want to make Precinct 2 great again. You know, it needs a change. A lot of people in the area has told me that, and I want to be the change for you guys. If you want to change, you keep saying you want to change, you got to do something about it. And, you know, I am one of you guys, and I just ask you remember, number 2 on the ballot, Robert Adams for JP2.
All right, we'll have more candidate spotlights for you. Of course, you can click on the candidate spotlight tab on thevindicator.com. We'll have all of them there. Also on Facebook and on YouTube. And anyway, until the next one, Robert, thank you, and good luck on the campaign.
Thank you, brother.